So for these next few problems, you're going to be looking at some graphs, and I'm going to be asking you to write an equation in y equals mx plus b form, so in slope-intercept form, from the graph. So let's get started with a couple examples. So again, we're looking at y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. So the first thing I'm actually going to do, even though it's asking for my slope first, I actually am going to identify my y-intercept first, because for me that's just a little bit easier, and then I like to use my y-intercept as one of the points for me to start calculating my slope. So again, this is my y-axis. So my line intersects the y-axis right here. So my y-intercept is where x is 0 and y is 4, which means that in my equation, y equals mx plus b, that b is going to equal 4. Okay, so now I can start to find the slope of this line. I'm going to just identify some other points on the line. I marked points for you on your lines that I wanted you to use. You can use, again, any two of them. So I see another really good point right here, because it's at a solid intersection. And I see another really good point right here. Again, we're looking for points that are exactly at the intersection of the integers on our graph, so that we can use our coordinate plane to calculate slope. All right, so I am going to start from, like I was telling some people in class, you can start anywhere you want, but people were like, just give me rules. So I gave the rule that we're going to start at our bottom point. So I'm going to do that with y'all. I'm going to start at my bottom point. And remember that slope is my change in y divided by my change in x. So I'm going to start by calculating my change in y. So I go up 1, up 2, up 3. So my change in y is a positive 3. And then my change in x, I go over 1 over 2. So I moved to the right 2. So my slope is 3/2. So then I can take my equation, y equals mx plus b, and I can fill in my m and my b. So my equation is y equals 3/2 x plus 4. That is the equation of this line. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, so again, looking at y equals mx plus b. And again, I'm going to start by finding my y-intercept. And this one's a little bit different because we're actually looking at the graph of a proportional equation or a proportional graph. So as I follow my y-axis, my y-intercept is at the origin. My y-intercept is at 0, 0. So that means if my y-intercept is at 0, 0, then my b is just 0. But I can use that as one of my points to calculate my slope. So I'm going to find another point that's exactly on my grid. I'm going to use this one right here because it's exactly on the coordinate plane. And I'm going to calculate my change in y over my change in x. So in this case, I'm going up 1, up 2, up 3. So that's 3. And then over 1, 1. So my slope is 3 over 1, which is just 3. And my y-intercept, or my b, is 0. So this equation is just y equals 3x. I could add plus 0 on there if I wanted to, but I don't really need to. Let's just simplify. Y equals 3x. So that means for every x value I plug in, my y is 3 times that. And I can also test out my slope. So if my slope is 3, why don't I look for similar points? I'm just going to do this part for giggles. I'm going to start at my y-intercept, and I'm going to go down 3 and to the left 1. So what happens if I go -3, -1? 1, 2, 3, -1. What do you know? I got a point right there as well. Cool. All right, y'all go ahead and give those a try, and let me know if you have any questions.